Hello, everyone. It's a great pleasure to be here in one more episode of our program, Consciousness in Evolution. And today we have four guests, and that's going to be a great talk about the International Congress of Conscientiology. So I will introduce my guests to you, and they are Alexandre Zaslavsky. Hi, Alexandre.
Hello.
Alexandre Zaslavsky is professor of philosophy in high school, PhD in education, volunteer and researcher in conscientiology since 1999. Co-author of the book Existential Inversion, author of several conscientiological articles and entries. He is also an editor of the journal Interparadigmas and joint coordinator of the Interscientific Council of UNICIN. So it's a great pleasure to have you here, Alexandre.
Thank you.
And our next guest is Anne-Catrin. Anne-Catrin Vogt is German, graduated in business administration and engaged in conscientiology since 1996. She lives in Germany, is a volunteer at Reurbanology and member of the Invisible College of Pacifismology.
Hello. Hello. Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you. And we also have Eduardo Vicenzi. Eduardo is Brazilian and has a degree in civil engineering. He has been a conscientiology volunteer since 1997. He lives in Germany, is a volunteer at Reaprendência and Consecutivos, and is also a member of the Invisible College of Reurbanology.
Hi, everyone.
And our another guest is Liliana Alexandre. Liliana studied philosophy. She's a specialist in international trade, born in Lisbon, Portugal, translator and English teacher, conscientiology volunteer since 1996, translator and reviser of conscientiological books and articles into English. Okay, she's also a NICNEO counselor and member of Invisible College of Reurbanology. She's a volunteer at ICCC and CAEC, right?
Hello.
So cool.
Good to be here.
So let's get started talking about the International Congress of Conscientiology. I will start with Alexandre Zaslavsky asking, what is an International Congress of Conscientiology? What are the objectives of this event? Alexandre, you have no sound.
Right. Okay. Well, first of all, an International Congress of Conscientiology is a unique event. It never happened before. So it's the very first time we will have this event. So the purpose of the Congress is to gather everyone, gather the conscientiology researchers, students, teachers, everyone connected to the conscientiological community, and make a big update of our knowledge in conscientiology, because the 700 experiments, the treatise which systematized conscientiology, is making 30 years, turning 30 years old. So it's the 30th anniversary. So it is time to make this assessment of ourselves. You know, what is the development of this new science past 30 years? So this is the broad, picture of the Congress.
I like it very much, your observation. It's time for everyone get together and do an assessment of what has been going on conscientiology in terms of updatings, leading.
What is the state of the science, right? We want to know what is the state of the science after 30 years.
That's great. Very good. So, people, I would like to invite you to send us any question you would like, okay? And I will continue with my questions here because I have many of them. And I want to know, Alexandre, which audience do you hope to reach with this event? Do you expect only people from ICCC? There is the Conscientiological, Cosmoethical International Community. And another question that we put together is what will be the dynamic?
Not necessarily, but our first public is the conscientiological community because, as we said, it's a big update of the state of the science. So, but, well, we expect to attract some new people as well. Some people which are like friends and family, or perhaps we intend to advertise in a try to reach outside the community. So we expect to receive some new interested people too.
Yes, I saw that we will have a guest that is outside conscientiological community. I want you to talk a little bit
we have
about
this
him.
very special guest. His name is Dean Radin, and he's a big authority these days in, well, the scientific study of parapsychism in the mainstream institutions.
Study of consciousness, right? He's a specialist as well.
He's a specialist, exactly. He's a electrical engineer. He's a parapsychologist, but I would say he's the cutting edge, considering the mainstream science. And he's kind of, well, he met Valdo Vieira in the 1980s. He has been observing conscientiology, so to speak. So he's not so far. He's acquainted, with conscientiology and what we're doing here.
And some conscientiologists already, right?
Yes.
He has been working closely with some conscientiologists.
Actually, he is the supervisor of one of the PhD of one of our colleagues these days. So he's how do you say, he's supervising this research about a topic in conscientiology.
Mm-hmm. Very good. And, well, let's talk a little bit now. Before we enter into the main speakers, I want to know about the structure of the event. Where can the participants from outside FOSS to stay? What do you recommend? When to arrive in FOSS? One day before is enough? What is your tips about that?
Well, Foz do Iguaçu it's a touristic city, so it has hundreds of options. But I'd say if you want to stay here in Cognopolis, you should book your hotel right now, right away, because it's holiday season, July, so you should book it right away. But perhaps some of you will participate in the ECP3, which will happen in the weekend before. So in that case, you should book it, I suppose, from Monday on. And because the event will happen from Friday to Sunday, then, well, maybe Sunday. You would check in on Sunday and stay till the other Sunday. So it depends. If you're coming to the Congress, the activities will begin on Monday. The pre-event will have workshops, so you could arrive on Sunday or Monday, or perhaps if you have not so much time, you would arrive one day before. So it's up to you, but
yeah, and we have the village at CAEC as well. Not only there are this option to stay at CAEC if it's not so crowded so far. And
but there's also the Congress will happen at the hotel, Interludium Hotel as well. So obviously, many people probably will stay there, can
Yeah,
stay there.
that's a very good option. Or we also have the Village, or we have a lot of hotels in Foz do Iguaçu. We have also Airbnb. We have all these options. Very good. So Foz do Iguaçu is a city prepared for tourists. So you are all welcome. And let's talk a little bit about the guests of the event. Who are our main speakers? I know we have two of them here with us, that are Anne-Catrin and Eduardo Vicenzi. So Eduardo, Alexandre, talk a little bit about the guests, and then we will ask a question to this evolutionary duo here.
Well, this will be a big event, so we will have the total of 83 presentations. So it's a lot of people. And I think perhaps I could present the slides of showing the name of the
Feel free.
speakers, the main speakers. Let me here, the conferences. Okay, so have the Pedro Fernandes will be the first one, the opening conference. And if you ask me, is there any Verpon in this Congress? What about a Verpon? About Verpon? So he will present this about Verponology, the structuring of this specialty. Verponology is really new thing he's presenting here. He's been studying the whole body of conscientiology, and he will present what he organized, and he's proposing very new things here. And the Juliana, Marco Antonio, and Max, they are the organizers of the big dictionary of conscientiotherapy. So they will present their experience here. This is a very remarkable accomplishment for us. Adriana Kawachi will present about disconography, which is the
Self-scientificity.
Self-scientific disconography, the writing of self-scientific books and texts.
Good.
Laino Laoshi, he's our authority about Proexis, the existential program, and he will present the paraepistemology of Proexology. What is the structure of the knowledge of Proexis, the Proexological knowledge? Also, everything here is new, people. I would say everything in this Congress is new, a lot of novelty here. And in Reading, as we said, we'll present also his new research. The conference is called Mind Matter Research and the Nature of Consciousness, an update on the latest advances. And he will be available after his conference. We will have some time to talk with him and make questions about conscientiology and, try to make a dialogue with him.
That's great.
And Malu Balona, Malu is one of the most experienced teachers we have and researchers in conscientiology. She was in the first Congress of Projectology in 1990, and even before she was already participating, I think, since 1986. So she will present conscientiology, para-research of self-consciousness, consciousness self-research. It's a kind of, it seems like it's not the same thing. She will show what's the difference between these two approaches.
Very good, very interesting.
As the structure of conscientiology. And Dulce Dal is representing here the Encyclopedia of Conscientiology, this huge enterprise. And her presentation will be about multifacets of the conscientiological encyclopedism, different aspects and consequences, what it represents on different levels. Okay, so it's all about cosmovision, all those conferences. And Adriana Lopes, multidimensional research, evolutionary pro-self-discernment resource. So her main research interest is about self-discernment, and she will present what's new in her research. I think this is it, basically. These are the main speakers, and Anne-Catrin and Eduardo.
Yes, now it's time.
Yes.
We really want to know more about this, okay? And they are going to talk, I'm going to ask them about their research. What motivated you? What were the inspirations you got to prepare this article, to prepare this paper for the Congress? So my questions for Annie and Eduardo is that you are researchers of reurbacs for a quite long time. You have a lot of experience in this area. And can you tell us about what is the main focus of your article that you wrote for this Congress?
Sure. You see the title, Heuristics Applied to Reurbanology. So by definition, heuristics is an analytical method for the discovery of scientific knowledge. And in the context of reurbanology, to achieve the same objective, a specific method based on the consciential paradigm is necessary. So the research we will present is about methods to come up with new hypotheses in reurbanology and to propose new concepts or aspects or approaches regarding extraphysical reurbanization. So the methodology we used in our research relied on bibliography of works related to the conscientiology subdiscipline, and on the findings and also on paraperceptions which we obtained in existential energetic fields or in penta session and also in field researches. So we are here in Europe, we perform sometimes field researches in different places which we find interesting because we think they are very connected to the reurbacs, the extraphysical reurbanization. Places like the European Parliament, like hundreds of conscientiologists already went to European Parliament and looked at it. So to see what is the level of or the phases of reurbanization and so on. So these field researches is also one of the aspects. So in our research, we also point out that in order to generate new knowledge, we have to understand better the cosmoethical, evolutionary, or the universal principles which we study in conscientiology, because they are guiding the fundamental concepts of the movements of the extraphysical reurbanization. So it is necessary to observe facts and parafacts related to this big project which we call reurbacs. I don't know, maybe Eduardo want to explain a bit more with this slide?
Yes, this slide shows the structure of the reurbacs. Reurbacs means extraphysical reurbanization. And we can see here in this slide at least 4 instances of reurbacs. For instance, in intraphysical dimensions, exactly where we are at this moment. So we have these personalities like pre-assistants, or the people who are here to receive a certain degree of assistance, or how I can say, information about the process, the evolutionary process. Assistance is basically the intermissivist. I mean, intermissivists are the people who make or who made the intermissive course. Then we have the conscience in the intraphysical dimensions. Conscience means urbanized consciousness. So this is the consciousness that came from this barotrosphere we can see here over the interphysical dimension, the barotrosphere. Barotrosphere, as you see here, is a focus of extraphysical reurbanization. So this consciousness who is stuck in these dimensions, in these pathological dimensions, they need to be assisted to bring them to the interphysical dimension to go further in their evolution, because they are stuck in the evolution, in a kind of stagnation in the evolution, if they remain in the barotrosphere, in these pathological extraphysical communities, as we said, communex. And then we can see here the transmigration planets below the interphysical dimensions, is that planets that is a evolutionary level below our evolutionary level here in our planet, when the consciousness is not able to continue in the process of evolution, because the evolutionary level is too low, because they stay stuck in the evolution a long time, they don't have the condition to become in the interphysical dimension and follow in the evolution. So they need to be, transmigrated to planets less evolved than Earth. And then we can see here in the top, transitional extraphysical communities. So this is communities where the extraphysical consciousness, pathological, from the barotrosphere, then they, when they are rescued from the extraphysical dimension, the barotrosphere, they come also a possibility to receive some treatment in order to resonate or to come again in the interphysical dimension and fall in the evolution.
So to wrap it up, the extraphysical reurbanization is the process of improving those pathological extraphysical communities or environments, which are called the barotrospheres. And this movement is sponsored by these more advanced consciousnesses, which are called Homo sapiens serenissimus. And this results in the cleansing of the whole Holocene of the areas of intraphysical societies. Over these societies, those communexes, those extraphysical communities, which are more dense, they have a negative influence. So this is the whole project, and the parareubanology is the specialty of conscientiology, which looks or which studies this whole big project, which we are all involved in conscientiology, because Waldo Vieira told us that conscientiology surged because there was a need for conscientiology because of the extraphysical reurbanization. So you see, it's a very complex matter, a complex structure, and there is no time to go deeper now in this issue. But when we are at the Congress, we will talk about that.
Yeah, our article is trying to realize or to find information on knowledge regarding extraphysical urbanization, because it's a very complex structure. So there is a lot of challenge in terms of knowledge, this process. For this reason, we try to bring in the Congress the methodology to how to get this new knowledge regarding this complex process of the urbanization, extraphysical urbanization.
Very, very interesting and important, because we are all in conscientiology to help this reurbanization, this extraphysical reurbanization. We start reurbanizing ourselves, our intraconscientiality, trying to become better a little bit, and then being better, we can assist the others and try to help this process to happen. So it's very important. And I usually follow up what the touristic reurbanological tour that you have been making for a quite long time. and we can see in your research the effects of reurbanization. So it's notorious. So you're going to bring something that is very important for us as a science. So congratulations. And my another question I will ask now to Alexandre. Okay, then I will get back. I have another question to you, Annie and Eduardo, but I will first ask something to Alexandre. And I want to know about Alexandre a little. Give an overview about the relationship between conscientiology and conventional science. Are we making progress? Do you think we can walk together, or still too early? What's your impression about that?
Yeah, this is a very interesting topic, but also complex, not so easy to summarize. But I would say we are getting a little bit closer, but it is a slow movement because there are different paradigms, and so a paradigm means a different worldview. So what we study here in conscientiology, when you say conventional science, we can say also materialistic science or physicalist sciences. It doesn't make sense for them in a first perspective, because our topic, which is multidimensional consciousness as an extra physical being or multidimensional, it cannot be reduced to matter, But said that, some areas are step by step coming closer. For example, the science of health, what some areas of health are beginning to use different therapeutics. For example, that one which is what's the name of it? It used to be meditation, but now is
mindfulness.
Mindfulness, exactly. Mindfulness. Yeah. So mindfulness could be a sort of bridge between paradigms. So we could, from conscientiology, make an interpretation of that. So that is a possibility. But it's a slow, as I said, it's a slow movement, and our relations are indirect. They are not so because of these differences. But I think what I expect from the Congress, I think the Congress perhaps will not, this update we expect from the Congress is a scientific improvement of the science, of the community. So the better our research is, closer we get from the scientific community as a group, because science is our similarity, but we need to improve our scientific approaches more and more, but of course, without losing our paradigm, which is the consciential paradigm.
I agree.
Getting more scientific within the consciential paradigm.
And we can see that we are publishing a lot. Conscientiology is translating a lot of books into many languages, and we are publishing in Portuguese, and now we are starting good publications in English. We have the International Journal of Conscientiology that Lígia Decker is taking care, and it's amazing how many people are writing in English, and that's very good for the science, because English is the international language. And so we are very happy to know all this news, and I hope the Congress will help a lot to update and to get all this leading edge relative truth known by the public. And I want to ask now, Eduardo and Anne-Catrin, how do you see conscientiology as a science in Europe? How is conscientiology perceived as a science in Europe and other countries you have lived? Because you have experience, you lived in Mexico, you lived in I think, I don't know if you have traveled a lot to other countries to give courses. And how do you see their perception of conscientiology abroad? Do you think they consider conscientiology as a science, as a religious line? That would be mistaken, of course, but what do you think about it?
It's a good question. I think all of it a little bit. Sometimes people really come because of the phenomena, so they expect something mystical, and a lot of people come from a mystical line, but others not. Others come from the conscientiology topics. So, for example, in Mexico, the students, they showed an easy acceptance of all phenomena. So the Mexicans are very open and they experience the phenomena, all of them, like the OBEs, clairvoyance, and so on. In Germany, most of the students also accept the phenomenon, but in general, this audience here is more critical and questioning the concepts of conscientiology in a good way, which is more scientific, than in Mexico. So in our experience, the teaching of conscientiology in different countries, even here in Europe, we found that the holothosins are quite different, and it's necessary for the teacher to adapt to the country's holothosin and culture. So therefore, it's also important to study the country's past. For example, countries from the former Soviet Union bloc have a very different cultural background than we have in the Western countries. So even here in Germany, there are still differences in holothosins between the states of the former East Germany, and which had decades of communism, and the Western part of Germany. So this is a very complex issue. We relate all those topics to REBECs, extraphysical reorganizations, which is tasks on demand. So for this country, for this specific holothosin, we have to have an answer or an entry of conscientiology on demand. And therefore, it's very important that we adapt our courses, our approaches to the specific needs of those intermissivists, which we find there in Romania, which we find in Finland, or which we find in Spain or Portugal. So I think this is something that we have to consider in conscientiology a lot, to look at the intermissivists who show up and what are their demands. And sometimes these people, they bring their specialty in the first approach. And this is very interesting because you have to keep up with this as a teacher and to know more or less about the specialties, and then help those new intermissivists to find that CI, this institution of conscientiology, which really can attend their specific needs. So sometimes for me and Eduardo, it's like more like making a connection to bring the intermissivist to their, sometimes we don't have a CI which is studying a consciential institution, but sometimes it's a college, an invisible college, which is, attending that specialty. So I would say, as soon as the intermissivist comes and we approach them, they understand, here we are talking science. We are not in a mystical club. We will not be, we will not be doing some rituals and so on. And this is very important for them to understand firsthand in the public lecture, for example. And I would say, yes, people are open for this, for these approaches as science.
And then I will ask a question to Liliana, because I think
if I can add first of all to
please, Ed. Maybe it's the same thing.
Alexandre and what Anne-Catrin said. My experience in teaching is also in teaching in Europe, not just in Brazil, right? So I teach in Portugal since '98, and then I spent 14 years in London, so where I taught as well. So it is exactly how Anne-Catrin is saying. You have to connect with the cultures, and because even in Europe, when you think of Europe, it's over 50 countries with 50 different cultures and languages, and you need to connect with the people, and more, and this is our position also in ISIC, and fortunately also in Reaprendência, and gradually more and more in other CIs, I hope. The idea will have to be to know what people want and what people need in their countries, in their cultures. And for us, just as facilitators, work together to exactly give them what they want, give them what they need, right? And also always making sure that, yes, we are doing science. It's a different science because it's a different paradigm, but we are all focused on making, in building this science as well. And another thing that is very important, and I think comes also, that is also connected with this, is when we do, and Isaac's main job has been since we are already 10 years old. So since we started, it's been translation and the production of books. So, and from 2019, which I took on this area, we have been producing books, not just in English. So it's English, and then after we started also with the Spanish, and now for the last 3 years we have books in Romanian. We started having books in Romanian. And this year, for first time, we will have books. Well, we also had books in German, and now we are going to retake and have more. And this is a very exciting moment for us as well for that. And for the first time, we will have books in Italian and French, because this matter of, on one side, translating books and publishing books in different languages will help bring the intermissivists together, will call people, intermissivists and pre-intermissivists, because I noticed, for instance, when I was giving classes in London, that after a while, first the intermissivists come, and after a while you notice it's no longer the intermissivists, but it's those that have a condition of being pre-intermissivists, that they can have their first intermissive course in the, when they next decimate. And this is also very important. It's like a seedling that you are doing, right? So it's a very important part of the job as well, of our task, I suppose.
Liliana, that was the question I was going to ask you, because I know you and Isaac, you are doing a great job in the translation of books, of the main basic books of Conscientiology. And we have to have that to offer to these pre-intermissivists or intermissivists to attend their demands on all the countries that we are expanding Conscientiology. And that's it. And now we have even
and then there is the next step, right? Because the next step is, and I've been trying to encourage people in the last 4 years with the bridge writers, which is the next step, because we will never be able to translate everything we have in Portuguese, because it's a huge job, and there's never enough translators and revisers. The next step is producing conscientiology books already, originally, in the languages of the intermissivists. So the Romanians start writing conscientiology in Romanian, the Germans in German, the English and hopefully, right, everyone will start at least with the English, because it's more international, and this will help a lot, will help more people. But to do it in every country, the intermissivists doing it in their languages as well.
That's great to know. And I just want to give you another good news for you. We have a Japanese team working in the translation of the glossary, that the glossary with 600 terms. And that's amazing. We are very happy. They are very dedicated. They are meeting every week at Holocycle to work with the translations.
In that respect, so just to remind people, so we have already the glossary of essential conscientiology terms in English, right, in Spanish, the trilingual Romanian, English, and Portuguese. And we have the German is cooking, right? And the Italian and the French one. And now if you have the Japanese. And the good news is not so long, not in such a distant future, we will have also in Turkish.
In Turkish? Well, let's hope so. Yes. Very good. We are happy to hear that. Well, now I have a question to Alexandre, another one. Alexandre, as a researcher of consciousness, you make a difference in experience and experiment. A difference has been said that experiment, that is doing experience, is different from having experience. Can you tell us something about that?
Yes. I have been studying this topic from some years now, and it is important if we regard the scientific approach. If we regard what we need to make better scientific research, because experience, it means something spontaneous, something that is happening all the time. Experience is a very general word, but experiment, it already has an historic. It is historically attached to science, and it means a deliberate experience. So experiment is a sort of experience, but it is designed, it is planned. So it is a special kind of experience which is done with the purpose of doing research. So if we improve our understanding of experimentation in conscientiology, it will help a lot in the research, because it's not a difference which is so clear among the researchers. What's the difference between experience and experiment? I think so.
I think it's also interesting because that is also something that is already in the principle of disbelief. When Dr. Valdo Vieira said, experiment.
Yeah.
Have your own experiences. So two different things. Do your experimentation, and we create labs in all our conscientiocentric campus for that, for experimentation. And with the experimentation, then you have certain experiences that you can validate your hypothesis. Right?
And after having these experiences and doing your experiments based on the disbelief principle, as you were mentioning, we have to write consciential gestations. Okay. So my question to you is, many people want to write, have good experiences, but have some difficulty in putting that into a paper. And I would like to listen from you, Alexandre, if you have any tip for people who want to write science, to write scientific papers. Do you have any suggestion for the ones who are beginners in this area?
Well, I think to write the scientific paper wouldn't be the first, the first gender of paper of text. You should begin with your writing down your experiences. For example, projections, daily life experiences. So try to report your experiences as much as you can write it down in detail, and then try to make correlations between the experience and the conscientiological concepts, theories, and the science of conscientiology. So this is the beginning. First of all, to valuing your experiences, and then analyzing them through the conscientiological lenses. So the second step would be to write a scientific paper, because for that you need to know the structure of such a text. You need to, for example, have a problem. What's the question you want to answer? So, and then you would need some methodology. How would you do that research? Would it be like a bibliographical research? You would research on already written texts, or would you make a field research like Eduardo and Anne-Catrin they are doing in Europe and other places? What would be this research? So the scientific paper, you need to know a bit about scientific methodology. But there's a lot of information in conscientiology. There are lives and texts, and also, well, wouldn't hurt, to read scientific methodology.
Yeah.
And also there's journals. We have several journals and the papers published there. So by reading, you learn as well, right? There's lots of materials there. And also CAEC has a course just on self-research that teaches, in some of the classes, it teaches how to write an article.
Very good. Annie and Eduardo, do you have any suggestion for the ones who are beginners in writing? Because you are very productive. You are always publishing articles, presenting verbets. So if you you have something to add, please.
Yeah, I think I have to talk to Lily, because Lily at ISIC, they structured this demand. I think you have the different bridge writers, don't you, Lily? You have so people.
We have the bridge. We have several bridge researchers, which anyone and all of you are, very much welcome to come and present about your research, what you're doing at the moment. So this is a very important one, and it was the first one that was created. And then came the bridge writers, which is exactly to incentivize people to become a writer and to write your first book. And we have the bridge cultures, which is exactly cultures where we were born or where we lived for a long time. So to exactly do this study and understand each culture better, so that you need to understand how it works, what are the past history, what is the current history, how to deal with that, what are the challenges of the intermissivists born in each culture. So we do all that, and these are all programs that are free, that are in English, that are online. There's also in Spanish. Everything is in YouTube channel. So we have those. We have the Bridge Book Club, which has already gone through the treatises like 700 Experiments, Projectiology, the book from Tatiana Mota, Intermissive Course. So now they are into the book from Fernanda Cabral Schweizer and Mariana Cabral Schweizer, so about self-care. So they are going through this book. So there's this bridge as well. There is the bridge debates, where anyone can propose, like, for instance, we've done last year a couple of debates for Romania. We asked them, what would you like to hear to debate? And they said, oh yeah, we would like to know more about synchronicity and seriexality. Okay, so we invited people from Consecutivos. They came and we debated that. Then they said, oh, now we would like something about proexis. Okay, so we invited people from Apex, and they came and we debated. So we have these type of things. There's also the bridge talks. So there's
very good.
You have the whole line. So I think ISIC is a great example to see how we can attend the demands which come differently. So they specifically created the courses or the activities which are very horizontal, very interactive, to help the international people who are not speaking Portuguese to get into researching and writing. And I think this is the turning point. Because until some years ago, we just had like internationally consumers of conscientiology, so they could have the classes, that could read the books, but that's it. And now with I6 efforts, they come to get producing also. They start to understand how conscientiology as a science works. And this is my big expectation for this international congress, that it's like a starting point to put the whole community on another level, so that we join all together, that we get a really big boost internationally. So people really want to get in teams, international teams with Brazilians and international people outside.
Working together,
producing together, because in the intermissive course, we did that. Language was not the barrier. So I hope that with this big event that we will have, we will find new ideas, listening to people with ideas in order to create these structures and move forward into a big integration.
And that's the idea, bringing people together. So we also do in Isaac the Bridge Cafe, where you can come and talk anything what would you like to discuss today? And
that's a great activity.
We have the Bridge Agora International as well, where it's just a place for people to come and say what they would like conscientiology to be in the future, how to connect, blah, blah, blah. So listen to people.
I'll have to interrupt you because we have just minutes more, and I want to ask Alexandre about how many articles did you receive for evaluation in this Congress? Do you have a number that you can tell us? How many articles did you receive? What were the main selection criteria?
Yes, I think we wouldn't believe it a few months ago, but we received the total of 107 submissions, considering articles and abstracts. But abstracts, like I think 15 or less than 20 were abstracts, and the others were papers, articles. And from that number, 75 were approved to be presented in different modalities.
Wow, it's amazing.
And so there are, this event, it asks, we expect it to be different and to be bigger in some concerns. And Nilce Oliveira, she organized this, I think, I didn't know if it was, I don't know if it was done before, but she actually gathered a group of about 80 people to make, how do you say, to evaluate?
To review all the papers.
But the first step is
80 people per se.
About 80 people, but before the review is the acceptance or not.
Yes, you review it to accept or not. So you have to do that stuff.
So every text submitted was evaluated by 3 people, but it was all double blind. Everything was double blind. So we did this huge table, and the numbers that we generated numbers. So it was very objective. We worked a few days in it in order to approve the articles, but the result was very interesting. You will see in a few moments. I would like to show the
Show the table.
Yeah,
show
yeah,
the
we are
table.
going to see. I want you to show the program that you did.
Program.
It's very, very complete. And I just a question before. Can you give us a spoiler? What is new about the science of the consciousness? Do you have
What's
any?
new?
Will
So many
is there
things.
So
any?
many things.
It's
So
difficult
many.
to select one, but the conferences we just saw, all of them, they are really new. But consider this: when we asked people to send their papers to the Congress, we said to everyone, and Eduardo and Anne-Catrin, I think we said also, what would you like to present in such an event? What would you like to present? You know, if you would present something in the first International Congress of Conscientiology, what would you like it to be? Because you need to. It's this idea. So everyone send their best, their very best. That so this is so interesting, and this is forming the holotousin of the event, because it's the top. You know what's the best you have, you will send, and everybody did that. So there's a lot of new ideas, new approaches, methods, and consider the conferences as examples of that. So the main speakers, all of them are very experienced, you know, very how do you say, veteran, very, you know, people which have a lot of publications in conscientiology. They are teachers a long time. They have been teachers.
And they have been carrying out very good research. Everyone that we invited, very good research going on.
We consider the leaders, so to speak, of conscientiology, and everybody chose. They picked what the very, you know, what's new, what's, you know, the what's
What's the creme de la creme?
the creme de la creme, exactly.
Alexandre, how
Okay.
many participants have subscribed so far?
You mean they have subscribing the?
Enrolled.
We have around 120 so far.
120. Is
So
there a
far,
place
yeah.
for more?
Yeah,
Because
we do.
I hope the people who are watching us can still subscribe. Do you have places for more in the hotel? Okay.
Of course. We are
People
expecting
told, hurry up.
We are expecting at least 200, and we have room for more. But you see, as you can see there in the schedule there, you see there are 2 rows. So we will have we have so many presentations in the Congress.
There's 2 venues, right?
Yeah. How do you say that, Liliana? Venues, right? So many venues.
2 venues. Yeah.
We need
CAEC and the hotel, Interludium Hotel.
The letter is very small, Alexandre. So if you can pass it.
I'm sorry about that, but because it's too much to show.
Yeah, it's so full of.
We will have to make parallel sessions. So we'll have some part, not the entire event, but some. I would say more than a half, 2/3. I would say will be at the same time. Will be happening.
Simultaneous in the 2 venues.
2 venues parallel. So one in the hotel and the other at CAEC. So they are, for those for you who know here, Foz do Iguaçu, they are neighbor, you know, places there. So you can cross. It's in a few minutes you cross from one place to the other, as it was at the same place. Like it's very near. So will be able to circulate between one place and the other, and you have to choose. Well, what will you pick? You know, what would you like better to watch, and so on. Like a big scientific congress. It happens everywhere. So
Very good. Very good.
So
And
you
we
see
start early in the morning and we go till late at
8:30.
night.
Yes, from 8:30 in the morning to I think 8 p.m. I think
Yeah, indeed.
something like that,
Very
with
good.
breaks, of course, with few breaks,
With
and
breaks.
it will begin Thursday morning, and it will it will begin without a proper opening session, which will happen in the evening. So
Okay.
Thursday evening will be the official ceremony
Okay.
to open the Congress in the
Yeah.
evening, and then Friday we'll have
Friday.
Thursday and Friday night we'll have the Raiden venue,
Mm-hmm.
and then Saturday all day long it's parallel venues too, and Sunday will be the last day. So we'll have venues in the morning only, and in the afternoon the
Closing
closing
lectures.
session.
And
Yeah.
so the ECP3 will be in the following weekend.
No,
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 no, previous.
no. Previous.
Previously, okay, you mentioned.
Right.
Okay. I have two questions here. Okay. First, we have Ligia is congratulating yourselves for this amazing initiative.
Thank you.
This will be a remarkable achievement gathering intermissivist scientifically. Very good. And Ligia has a question here. What will be the official language of the Congress? Can people attend the Congress online?
Well, we are working in order to make the translation available, the simultaneous interpretation available as much as we can. We are still forming the teams, but we expect to make it, in order to, so everything will have the simultaneous interpretation, but it's a work in progress still. So the official language, well, practically speaking, of course, we will encourage people to present in English, but it's Portuguese. But since the beginning, we are saying that it's an international event. We want people doesn't speak Portuguese to participate. So that's our concern, and we are working hard to make it.
Very good. So, and can people attend the Congress online? Is the same question of Melanie.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, you can attend online. It will be transmitted. So if you subscribe as online participant, you will be able to watch the Congress in real time, and also to watch the videos later if you want. So it will be streamed. Yes.
Very good. And Alexandre, we are near the end, Alexandre and all my other guests. And I want to know, will there be regarding the Interparadigmas journal? Are you going to have an Interparadigmas journal for this event, or the articles will be published in a separate publication?
No, it's not Interparadigmas. It will be Consciência.
Consciência.
Journal.
Okay. Consciência magazine.
We will publish only the conferences and mini conferences, because it's enough material as it is.
It's almost a book. My team is working, and I have the crème de la crème as well, working in English on that. But I think it's a book.
If you consider it's a bilingual edition, if you consider Portuguese and English, I think it will be several hundred pages. It will be it will be possible to purchase it by demand. It's too big. We couldn't print it for the event, but it will be available in PDF.
Print on demand.
Yes, but also print on demand for you who wants to have it published in paper.
Well, very good. My last question, and that's for you, for all of you. Can you tell us about your perceptions and para-perceptions about the repercussions of this event? Can you tell us something of the backstage, Alexandre?
Me first. I'm involved with this since 2021. So it's something which I saw growing from the first moments, and in my perception, it wouldn't happen if there wasn't a very strong priority from the multidimensional mechanism, I would say, because it's too big, for us to make. It's not us, it's the multidimensional mechanism which considers it something like a priority. So every time I questioned, will it really happen? Will it really happen? The answer was, you don't have to worry about that. It happened already. For us, it already happened. It's something that is there already. So you just keep working and things will materialize,
We are just the links of the extra-physical. We are just here working as mini pieces for the thing to materialize. But all our connections and international connections, I think my perceptions, for instance, in terms of projections during the night, and I am connecting with so many people. And some people, it came to mind during these projections that they are intermissivists and they don't know they are. So our connections will have repercussions, for sure.
Very good. Annie and Eduardo, are you going to be here in person?
No, unfortunately not, but we will be online giving our presentation. And I think it's very important. I think we see the repercussions already because new intermissivists are coming. I think there's a strong connection to extra-physical preparing intermissivists who will resonate in the next years. And I'm very confident that we will bring conscientiology to another level, to another step. I think it's really a very important event, and I'm very proud to be part of it.
It will be a watershed, for sure. Yeah.
Then what can I say about the repercussion is that is interesting because we plan to be there in Brazil to make our presentation, but it will not possible. But I understand that we have a connection Germany to Brazil, and this like a channel, energetic channel. I suppose that we will have a real meaning in terms of assistance because it's very important to connect these two continents. In our continent, we have a war at the moment, and so astrophysically is very complicated situation. And then I feel that this connection direct from Germany to Brazil will be very useful in terms of assistance.
Yeah, our parageography will be is already benefiting through the movement which started in Brazil, but it's benefiting our whole region. I think this is very important
then I think there's something a little bit similar happening with Romania, because obviously Adina is working with me in the translations. She will not be able to come in her group, but there's the thing, the links, the connections are there. So the things have all these repercussions that are intraphysical and extraphysical, right?
Great. So, people, it was great being here with you. I have just a last question. Alexandre, how can we subscribe? How can we enroll to this event? Do you have a link that you can send me?
Yes, I do.
I will publish
you can
here.
enroll at the Conscientiology Mega Store. I will send you the link here, and you can.
Okay. That's great to know.
Right.
So,
I would like to mention just one small thing that is not so small, is that one of the great things about working the organization of this Congress is that Alexandre, who is the head of it, he invited people from different CIs, the people, right? And according maybe to their profiles or something. And it's been a great experience to work together. And again, it's another example of how good it is and how productive it is for us to work together independently of the CI that we are in. Okay, this is a very important thing, I think.
Very good to know. We have representatives of many conscientiocentric institutions, so it's amazing. Very good.
In my group of translators, for instance, we have from Mazik, but we also have from Arace, from, it's working together. It's really great.
That's great.
Okay, so if the person enters into Conscientiology store,
can you share this link? Can you share this link with in the YouTube chat?
Yeah, you put in the chat of the StreamYard.
Yes, but it needs to be.
Okay.
Yes, to the.
So people, we will send here the link, but you can enter in the store conscienciologia.org.br, and you are going to see the Congress, the link for subscribing in the Congress. So we hope to see you there, either presentially or online. And I thank you very much, all of you, for being here, our guests, our participants. And I will also invite you for our next webinar that will happen on March 17. And it will be with Fabiana Cerato. She's going to talk about beauty, elegance, romance, love, and art, beliefs and discernment, deconstructing myths, beliefs and dystopias, and building evolutionary understandings. So we wait for you in our next webinar. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.